massive news alluding to the idea that the Miami Heat could possibly be losing one of their key pieces on the coaching staff after this season to another Eastern Conference team. We'll break down those reports on this episode of Heat Digest, as well as reviewing the massive praise our star player Bam Adebayo has recently caught from a seasoned NBA veteran and former Miami Heat player, all in this episode of Heat Digest, where we create daily Miami Heat content. So if that interests you, subscribe to the channel, as 84% of you guys currently watching this video are not currently subscribed, and we are on the road to 1,300 subscribers. So if you are a part of that 84%, please scroll down, click the subscribe button. It means the world to us over here at Heat Digest. We do see all the love and support you guys do show us. So once again, thank you guys for all of that. But now let's get to it and break down this massive news, as the Miami Heat could possibly be dealing with a massive coaching vacancy at the end of this NBA season due to a better opening, if you will. I don't know if that's really the best wording, due to the fact that the job opening is going to be in Charlotte. Now, it started with a series of Adrian Wojnarowski's tweets, which we'll get to in just a second, but this was tweeted by Legion Hoops. Report: Miami Heat could be in danger of losing valuable coach to the Charlotte Hornets. Now, if you click on this picture, it will take you to the article which was written, and it goes on to say this: the Miami Heat assistant coach Chris Quinn reportedly could be among the early candidates to become the Charlotte Hornets' newest head coach once Steve Clifford steps down from his position after the season in order to assume a role in the team's front office. Now, the article didn't end there, as it went on to cite a bunch of Adrian Wojnarowski's tweets from today, Wednesday, April 3rd, I should say. ESPN sources: Steve Clifford is stepping down as the Charlotte Hornets coach at the end of the season and working to finalize a front office role with the franchise. Clifford informed his assistants and players on Wednesday morning. Again, Wednesday morning was today, April 3rd. Now, the tweets did not end there along with the article, as it went on to cite these three tweets that were tweeted immediately following the tweet we just read from Adrian Wojnarowski. The first one reads as follows: Charlotte's new EVP of basketball operations, Jeff Peterson, and co-owners Rick Schnall and Gabe Plotkin were open to bringing him back as coach next season, but Clifford, 62, decided he wasn't prepared to commit to the year-round grind of head coaching for the 2024-2025 season. Then the second and third tweets read as follows: this allows the Hornets to start a search immediately for the organization's next coach. And finally saying, sources: among the league's assistant coaching candidates expected to be considered in the Charlotte's process, Sacramento's Jordi Fernandez, Boston's Charles Lee, Miami's Chris Quinn, Phoenix's Kevin Young, and others. Now, that was the end of the tweets by Adrian Wojnarowski in this article. But again, massive news for the Miami Heat due to the fact that one of their key pieces on the coaching staff is involved in possibly getting a, and again, quotes around this, better job in the NBA as a head coach rather than assistant coach, this time in Charlotte. Now, this is not the first time Quinn has been involved in possible other coaching allegations, as he was linked to the Milwaukee Bucks job after they fired Mark Budenholzer. This again from the same article we were citing earlier from the Legion Hoops tweet, just like this one right here. Now, it goes on to say Quinn started out his NBA coaching career with the Miami Heat in 2014-2015 season as a player development coach. Over the years, he has become Eric Spoelstra's right-hand man as an assistant. The 40-year-old has been considered for other open NBA coaching positions in the past. He was linked to the Milwaukee Bucks job after the team opted to fire Mike Budenholzer following the Milwaukee's loss to the Heat in the first round of the 2023 NBA playoffs. The Hornets have been one of the worst teams in the NBA so far in the 23-24 season. At 18-57, they own the number 13 seed in the Eastern Conference, ahead of only the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference standings. Now, is it great news for Quinn? Absolutely. It's always good to see players, coaches, anyone involved in the Miami Heat organization going out and really succeeding what they were doing already with the Miami Heat and becoming a better version of themselves. And obviously, if he's going from an assistant coach on a, let's call him a good, if not great team in Miami, and obviously he's a part of a phenomenal, like, S-tier, top of the food chain coaching staff in Miami with Eric Spoelstra at the helm, obviously, and Pat Riley even sitting above them, both Eric Spoelstra and Quinn, obviously. But again, if he was able to go from an assistant in a good team, if not great team in Miami, and go to a head coaching position, and again in a bad team in Charlotte, it is still a step up in the sense of job description for Quinn, as being a head coach is no slight. There's only 30 of those jobs in the world as a professional head coach for an NBA team. That is no slight. That is a hell of an accomplishment. So if he does choose to go that route, it is a hell of an accomplishment for Quinn. And again, round of applause to him for getting that job and really being successful enough to be able to acquire some type of job like that. But again, it would be bad for the Miami Heat due to a loss on a great coaching staff that, again, we would be able to replace him. But again, it wouldn't just be a immediate hire and we immediately be able to replace someone like Quinn. As this article states, he's been around the Miami Heat since 2014, 2015. That is now going on a decade long, as we are now in the 23-24 season. So at the end of this year, I guess you can consider it a 10-year reign in Miami, if you will. But again, it would be a hell of an accomplishment for Quinn. He would obviously be missed in a Miami Heat uniform in the Miami Heat organization. But again, if he's out being successful and he's improving himself, we can't do anything but really applaud him and thank him for the time he has committed to us. So hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully he chooses to stay with a much better organization in Miami. But again, if duty calls and he does seem to enjoy the idea of being his own boss and being the head coach, if you will, for a bad Charlotte Hornet team, by all means, take the job when you get it. But now let's break down this massive news that Bam Adebayo has caught some massive praise, and it came from none other than Micheal Beasley. If you don't know the name Micheal Beasley, you're showing your age very much so, because Micheal Beasley was not only a player for the Miami Heat, but he has been in the league for some time now. Obviously, he has not played since the 2018-2019 season, and the COVID year was really his last straw. He did not come back after that year. But he was drafted by Miami in 08-09. He had 2 seasons played there before going to 2 years in Minnesota, before going to Phoenix for a year, before coming back to Miami for 2 more years, then jumping around to Houston for a year, Milwaukee, New York, and LA. Now, the reason I highlight the fact that he has been in the league and he's played for a just surplus of different amount of teams is due to the fact that he's been around. He was a hooper in high school. If you don't know, look up his high school mixtape. He was a certified bucket. He came out into the NBA, again, a certified bucket, but he did have some problems. Was smoking a little bit too much weed, a little bit too much cannabis. He got in a bit of trouble. Obviously had some legal issues with that cannabis and other things, and his NBA career really was derailed. It wasn't really what we expected it to be, due to the fact that he had some upside like some other players that we couldn't even fathom. As he was coming out of high school, and he legitimately was a certified bucket. If you look here, he only averaged 12 points for his career. His best year was 19 points. That was his 3rd year in the league in Minnesota. But again, he was a legitimate player in the NBA and a legit player really overall, and he still is a legit hooper. And he won't be the last person to tell you that. As on the OG show, hosted by none other than Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller, 2 former Miami Heat legends, he's had to say this: Micheal Beasley has played with a lot of players in his career, and he says Bam Adebayo is the only player to have beaten him in a one-on-one. Now you have to take it with a grain of salt, as Micheal Beasley, yes, he is a hell of a player. He's a hell of a hooper, and he is legitimately a bucket getter. He makes tough shot after tough shot, yes, and his one-on-one game is really one of the better when it comes to playing pickup, king of the court, if you will. But again, he says that Bam Adebayo is the only player to beat him in a one-on-one game. Take it with a grain of salt, if you will. Mike Miller and Udonis Haslem both had a laugh when Micheal Beasley did say this on their show, the OG show. But again, he's given a lot of credit to Bam Adebayo here, and he goes on in this clip to say that Bam should be shooting the ball 30 times a night. He could be scoring at least 30 points a night on 50% shooting, as long as he just took 8 to 10 more shots a game. And it wouldn't even be a selfish 8 to 10. It would just be 8 to 10 more shots where he wasn't looking to be as passive involved in the Miami Heat offense. As we know, the ball movement is such a key piece, as Bam Adebayo is really one of the key pieces in that ball movement and overall the offense for the Miami Heat. And Micheal Beasley just made the claim that he could simply just be one of the most dominant players in the entire NBA due to the bag that he has on the offensive end, let alone the all-around game with the facilitating and the defense he brings to the Miami Heat. So overall, I bring up his Micheal Beasley stats, dude, just to point out the fact that he has played with a lot of different teams, a lot of different players. He has witnessed players like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, obviously Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, like James Harden, Carmelo Anthony, like Shaquille O'Neal. Like, these are legitimate all-pro, all-world players, and he got to witness them firsthand. Not even just playing alongside of them, but competing against them, matching up against them, playing defense against these guys. And he claims that Bam Adebayo, again, was the only player to ever beat him in a one-on-one. So again, obviously take this with a grain of salt, because Micheal Beasley might be stretching the truth just a little bit. But again, he's just giving a hell of a lot of praise to our young star in Bam Adebayo, and I can't wait to see if maybe Bam even takes him up on this idea of possibly shooting the ball 6 to 10 more times a game, or 8 to 10 more times a game, like Micheal Beasley said, just to get him a cool 30 to 40 points a game on shooting 50% from the field. Again, these are things Micheal Beasley said. Yes, I am paraphrasing, but if you want to see the actual clip, go and check out the OG show. It's Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller. It's two legends for the Miami Heat, two NBA legends, two great basketball minds, and they always have great guests on, including Micheal Beasley and even Norris Cole, a former Miami Heat point guard who did win a few rings in that Miami Heat uniform. So once again, huge credit from Micheal Beasley to our young player in Bam Adebayo. I can't wait to see if he follows suit. I can't wait to see if Quinn does stay in a Miami Heat organization, or if he does go and do his own thing, being the new leader and head coach for the Charlotte Hornets. But again, that is to be determined. That is it for this episode of Heat Digest. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.